Hello everyone, we are live. It has been a minute since I've been on here with you guys. I hope everybody is staying safe, staying healthy, staying sane. I've missed you guys. It's so great to be on here. Today we are talking with Heather. Heather was born with a congenital heart defect. She's had multiple heart surgeries throughout her life. Hello. And then at age 24, Heather started showing symptoms of a stroke, and she is going to join us right now. Before I bring Heather on, I just want to remind you guys, you can always donate to support our efforts at the Heart Foundation. You can donate through this live. And then also, you guys know I'm obsessed with our mantra shirts. We have tanks for men and women. We also have t-shirts. They have our mantra on them. You're never too young and it's never too late, because at the Heart Foundation, we do believe that while you're never too young and it's never too late to be affected by heart disease, you're also never too young and it's never too late to start living a more heart-healthy lifestyle. All of the proceeds to these shirts support heart disease research at Cedars-Sinai. You just have to tap the link in our bio to purchase one for yourself or for someone else in your life, someone special. But we're gonna bring Heather in right now. Heather,
Hello.
how are you?
Good. Sorry, volume. There we go.
No,
Hi.
you're perfect. Do I look clear?
Yes.
Everything's good? Perfect. How are you? It's so great to see you.
Doing decent.
Doing
Good to see you too.
decent.
Yeah.
How's your dog?
A lot better.
Good.
Yes, thankfully. Whew.
Oh my gosh.
Medication's working.
That's fantastic. Isn't it crazy? It's like we always say, like, our dogs are like our family, and then something goes wrong, and it's like so real. I swear I get more concerned about my dog than I do about any of my other family members. And I don't know if it's because I can't like speak to her or what.
Right. I'm like, tell me what's wrong.
Totally.
You can't.
Totally. I am so happy that your dog is doing better, and I'm so happy that you're feeling better about everything. But thanks for jumping on here with me. This is going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
I'm Heather. What do you want to know about me?
Heather, you're 29.
Yes.
Perfect. And you're from?
I'm currently in Pasadena. I'm originally from Indiana.
Originally from Indiana, which is why you and I connected so well, because I went to school in Indiana.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like, I feel like our worlds have crossed paths so many times, and this, I can't believe this is the first time.
Small world.
Always. I know, right? And actually, I skipped over this, so let me say this really quickly. For those of you who are watching, hello, my name is Hannah. I'm with the Heart Foundation in Southern California. The Heart Foundation, you can see my dog right there. The Heart Foundation is passionate about the education, early detection, and prevention of heart disease, which is the #1 cause of death for men and women in the United States. So we're working to change that. And we are trying to do that by bringing more awareness, by having people like Heather on to tell their stories. And okay, so Heather, 29, from Indiana. Now you live in Pasadena.
Yes.
When did you move out here?
I've lived in California for about 3 years now. I moved in the spring of 2017.
2017. Yes. Oh my gosh, why does that feel like a lifetime ago?
I mean, this year alone has lasted about a century, so.
PC, pre-COVID.
Right.
I love that. Tell me a little bit about, let's tell everybody about, you were born with a congenital heart defect. What's it called?
So it's called tricuspid atresia. Fun word. It's one of the valves, instead of opening and closing like it's supposed to, was a solid wall of tissue.
Got it.
So blood couldn't pump through.
Now, did doctors know that you were going to be born with this before you were born? How quickly did they find out?
No, I was assumed to be born perfectly healthy. That I guess there was still like a small enough hole for stuff to get through that it wasn't detectable until I started, growing.
Right.
And I'm fuzzy on the details. Obviously, I was not a fully conscious human being. But I had my first big surgery when I was 18 months.
Right.
And that was to put a shunt in to keep that hole there so the blood could kind of get through.
Right. And then, so you lived the first, I guess, like 8 or 9 years of your life, the next 8 years after that surgery, feeling totally normal, or did you have restrictions? What was that like?
I felt like crap. Um,
And you
so,
were just a little kid.
yes. So I had, I guess the best way to describe it is that I constantly lived in high elevation,
Mm,
um, where, that shortness of breath, that lightheadedness,
yes.
So when it came to like normal kid things like playing tag, I couldn't do any of that. Just crawling up a flight of stairs was like work for
Exhausting.
me. Yeah. And I suffered a lot from the oxygen problems where any exertion of, well, I say exertion, like walking.
No, it's physical activity.
Yeah, any physical activity would cause just exhaustion. If I like got upset and cried, I would have a migraine for the rest of the day, just because of the oxygen issues. Yeah, it was not a fun time.
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I do. I'm the youngest of four.
So I can't imagine too how hard it must have been. I mean, I'm just assuming, do any of your siblings have any health issues?
Nope, they're all
So you were the
A-okay.
youngest, just trying to keep up with your older siblings, and truly your
Mhm.
body was not allowing you to do it.
Correct, yeah.
And then I know you had a second heart surgery.
Yes. Yeah, so then when I was 9, I had the big open heart surgery. And today is actually the 20th anniversary of that surgery. Hey.
I think that is so cool. When you told me that, I was like, of course, yes, we have to do the call on that day.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel celebratory? Does it make you feel kind of somber, weird? Is it like an awkward birthday where you're happy, sad?
Yeah, I think I just feel weird about it.
Yeah.
Just cuz and I mean we'll talk about this, but everything was going so smoothly
Right.
for the longest time. And then a few years ago, it was not so smooth. But it's really nice to go this long and not have to do anything major.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor, way back then was like, be prepared for surgeries in the future, possibly even a transplant. Like, be prepared mentally for this. So the fact that I've gone 20 years with no other procedures is awesome.
I don't even know if you're going to be able to tell me exactly, but do you know what was done in that open heart surgery?
So as far as my very limited understanding,
That's okay.
Basically some stuff was rerouted.
Okay.
So that I don't really use that fourth valve. I just use 3.
Got it.
The most dumb explanation I can give you.
No, that's a very layman's terms explanation that the normal person can grasp.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm curious, after that surgery, did you feel different?
Oh, extremely. So and I told you this story before when we talked, and it's so funny. So before I had my surgery, again, I was just 9 years old. People thought I was about 4 or 5 because I was so small, because I was so oxygen deprived.
Mm-hmm.
And after my surgery, I like shot up to the height of a regular 9-year-old. My body was just like, oh, we can do this now. Cool. Awesome.
Oh my, like the oxygen just started coming
Mm-hmm.
in.
Yeah. And yeah.
No, I was just going to say, we talked about this before too, is Amy, who is our mutual friend, who I've also interviewed for the Heart Foundation, experienced a similar thing after her heart surgery where she all of a sudden had like a growth spurt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that happened. That was like a very obvious thing. But I was able to play sports in high school, which obviously I never would have been able to do before that. I played volleyball and basketball, and ended up being like starting 5 my senior year.
So you were feeling like perfectly, I mean, quote unquote, normal,
Mm-hmm.
uninhibited,
Yeah.
Totally normal, active teenager.
The only thing was like, I did have to, like, when it came to playing sports, when it came to playing sports, I did have to inform my coaches, like,
right,
hey, this is the thing, and you know, I'm not a whiny quitter, so they knew that they could trust me.
Right,
like,
they knew to take you seriously. You weren't just trying to like dip out.
Take me out, please. I'm dying. And they would very easily. It was no problem.
Oh my
but
god.
Other than that, yeah, it was great.
So okay, you're a teenager. You've had open heart surgery. You've had another heart surgery when you're a kid. You suddenly feel amazing, and you kind of feel like all is well.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Until 1 second. June, come here. I'm sorry. Come here. They make everything so much sweeter, but my goodness, are they loud?
Yeah, I gave mine a bone so that she would, you know.
So, okay, so everything seemed to be going perfectly normal, perfectly well. Yes. And then I know you moved out of Indiana.
Yeah, so I lived in Minneapolis for just a year.
Okay.
Yeah. And so while I was there, I had a stroke.
You say that like it's so
I have to laugh to keep from crying.
I know. Well, truly, is there any other way to say it? Like you're so young that it's like it's almost like you've got to be kidding me. There's no other way to say I had a stroke.
Yeah.
You're 24.
Yes.
And I feel so silly because I like know the story, and I just want you to start from the very beginning. That day, what happened?
So, it was December 31st, so it was New Year's Eve, but it was that morning. And I woke up and, basically my symptoms were that the whole world was spinning and would not stop. And that of course was making me nauseous. So when I got up to run to the bathroom, I fell over, because I'd lost all coordination in my right side. So of course we didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. Obviously it didn't make sense. So rushed to the ER, and the doctors unfortunately didn't take anything seriously. Because my symptoms were dizziness, falling over, and throwing up, and it was New Year's Eve day, the doctors just assumed I had already been partying.
Right.
I'm like, it's 10 a.m. on a Friday, ma'am. Like,
right. And were you telling them that about your your condition?
Yeah. So obviously I couldn't say anything at the time. Okay. But my ex at the time, who took me in, was telling them right away, like, this is the problem she has. Here is exactly what it's called, like giving them as much information as possible. And the nurse that was like checking me in just basically went, huh? Okay. And that was it. So we informed them.
So what did they leave you with?
So at the end of the day, they'd given me like anti-nausea or something to like help me not be dizzy anymore. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, after a CT scan that didn't show anything, the doctor was like, oh, you just probably have an inner ear infection. Here's some anti-nausea medicine. Go home, sleep it off. And that was it.
And they had no answer for the loss of control of one side of your body.
Mm-mm. And I mean, I don't think, I mean, what they should have done is admitted me and like done more tests and, you know, checked more things. Yeah. But I don't think they even really like noticed that at the time, because I was in the wheelchair and then I was in the bed.
Well, and to be honest, except for that you did have the pre-existing condition, no one's going to think of a 24-year-old as somebody who's going to have a stroke. That's just not going to be on their radar at all.
Right. No. So, right. I mean, I get it, but also pay attention to my symptoms. Yes.
And absolutely. And pay attention to my medical history. I mean, they always tell you, understand your medical history, know your medical history, communicate your medical history. And you did all of those things. And still,
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
so they set you on your way.
So they sent me on my way. And then I think it was a week, 2 weeks. I was still in a mental fog, and my right arm was just like stuck to my right side. I was dragging my right leg, and I was like, what this why is this still a problem? So I went to my general practitioner, and she, also incompetent, basically was like, oh, I think you just, I don't know, she said I had like anxiety or something, which I do have diagnosed PTSD, but like it doesn't make my
And
legs
now we
not
understand
work.
why.
Right. So she wasn't the best, but thankfully she at least was like, all right, well, let's send you to a neurologist just to see what they say. So 2 weeks now, at least, after the stroke actually happened, went into the neurologist. As soon as I walked into the neurologist, or I should say hobbled into the neurologist's office, he looked at me and goes, yeah, stroke, let's get you an MRI.
Like,
just
knew
to confirm.
instantly.
Yeah, he just had to see me walk.
I'm back. Okay.
Sorry. There we go. Yeah.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So
Okay.
you're dragging a foot. Your arm is completely like up on the side of your body. You can't,
like, could not use my arm one bit.
Could you talk?
Dragging my foot.
Could you talk okay?
So I could talk. I sounded drunk, very slurry. And then I had what I know now to be aphasia, which is you can't think of words. So I could look at a chair and be like, that sit thing. Like, I couldn't think of the word.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
So then, okay, you get diagnosed with a stroke, having a stroke. What is the recovery process from there? What do you do?
So I got sent into a different hospital, thank goodness. It took me seriously, to actually diagnose like where the stroke came from.
Like what caused it?
Yeah, and so I can't think of what it's called now. An esophageal echo? No.
Probably. Like an echocardiogram?
Yeah, but it's like down your throat.
Okay.
So fun. So they did one of those and immediately were like, oh yeah, the little clot started in the spot that's deformed and traveled up. And that's what happened. So
basically it was from a surgery 15 years prior.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, so they diagnosed the official, cause, and then put me on blood thinners and gave me occupational therapy and physical therapy for my arm and my leg. And I think I did physical therapy for, it wasn't very long. I want to say like 6 weeks, and then occupational for just a little bit longer.
What was one of the, was there like an action or a task that was suddenly so difficult for you to do?
Oh my goodness.
I'm trying, like, I think about like the everyday things that was there a point in your mind where you went, are you kidding me? Why can't I do this?
Well, so at the time, obviously I couldn't even walk correctly. I had to relearn how to push off with my foot. I didn't, like, my brain forgot how to do that. So it took a really long time for me to be able to even like jog again.
Yeah.
I can run again now, thank you. But it took a while. But yeah, it took me a while to jog. I was very awkward to watch. And when it comes to my hand, it's still maybe 75% of what it should be. And I'm right-handed, but I have to use my left hand for the majority of things still. But yeah, my right hand, like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like in my occupational therapy, I like practiced putting toast on butter.
Right.
Like
no,
easy
in my
like
head,
that.
I was thinking putting toothpaste on a toothbrush.
Yes, I had to do that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so to this day too, there's like like quickness issues. There's a better term, but like I can't move it very fast. So like if I'm brushing my teeth, I have to brush with my left because I can, but with my right hand, it's very like jerky and weird.
Right.
So like there's still some issues like that.
What did your doctor, your, I guess, final doctor who you were like grateful to have, what did they have to say about that 2-week period? Did that 2-week period make your recovery harder and longer?
Yes.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if they would have caught it, within a day or two of it happening and immediately started therapies and stuff, it would have, a lot of the issues wouldn't have had so much time to like settle into my brain per se. So those 2 weeks, my body had time to like settle into its like being messed up. I don't know how to word this, but yeah, it was not good. They should have caught it earlier. That would have helped a lot.
Right.
When it comes to actual therapy and stuff.
Right. Did it totally change the way that you feel about doctors?
Yes.
I mean, I'm curious. Everybody has their own opinion of doctors.
I mean, I've had so many doctors that I'm trying to think. I think until then, I pretty much trusted doctors because I only had good ones. But that definitely, I mean, it taught me that I need to be a lot more of an advocate for myself and a lot more aware of what's going on with myself, so that I've done this since where I've told a doctor like, no, that's wrong. Sorry, try again. Because like I've noticed more and more like doctors, they have, a plan that, or a thing that in their mind is the right thing to do. And that's fine. But
they're not inside your body though, obviously.
Yeah, but exactly. And they may not know my history, especially an ER doctor.
Right.
Like if I tell you something, you need to listen.
Right.
So yeah, it's
right. And I think that we are all kind of being slapped in the face with that idea right now of really listening to your body.
Yep.
And of really, really kind of like going through the checklist and saying like, okay, if I'm not feeling well, what is it that's causing me to not feel well? And for people right now, is it a symptom of COVID? Where for you in that moment, it was like, all of these things are happening. I know that I have this pre-existing condition with my heart. There's got to be a way that it's connected.
Right.
Like you knew that there was there's something next level. It's not vertigo. It's not my anxiety. It's not, there is something else going on, which thankfully, like Heather, you 100% saved your own life. You went back to the doctor.
Yeah. Oh,
100%. Sure. And I think that a lot of people would have just sat still and continued on the path that the emergency room doctor told them on. Or if they went to their GP and their GP was like, I mean, I think it's just your anxiety, but like, I'll send you to a neurologist. I think a lot of people, especially young people today in their 20s, who, if they don't have great insurance, or even if they do have insurance, who knows how much it's going to cover, they wouldn't go to the neurology appointment. Yeah. And you went.
And that was definitely a concern where I was like, I had to just mentally be like, okay, this is going to cost a lot later. Yeah. But I would like to be able to walk, and that's a little more important right now.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, it was 100% affecting your day-to-day life. And it still is today.
Yeah. Yep.
How have you been handling everything with quarantine and the pandemic? I mean,
it's a day-to-day thing. So I mean, I have these health problems which make me high risk. Obviously, with this being a condition that affects your lungs. Sorry, can you hear the cars going by?
No.
Hopefully it's not too loud. Okay, sorry. But yeah, with the condition affecting lungs and everything, I have to be extra careful because like my heart's already working overtime as it is right now. And so for something to affects lungs, like it would work so hard it would get out.
Right.
So so I just have to be extremely careful. I can't go anywhere. I really can't see anybody.
I know that your doctor like basically said you're not working.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to work. I mean, I could work from home, but I don't really have a whole lot of experience that would get me a remote job. But yeah, when she put me in quarantine in March and said, okay, we'll follow up in June. And when we followed up in June, she's like, okay, I know this is not what you want to hear, but you're in quarantine till I find a vaccine. Whenever that is.
That had to have been the most frustrating news in the world to hear from you. But how great that you have a doctor who's keeping in contact with you.
Yeah.
And who cares enough about your health to not push the boundaries, not push the limits, I mean, in that way. Yeah. To really say, now is the time to take your time.
Yeah. Yes. Thankfully, she's a really good doctor, and she's just my general practitioner. And she's like, all right, don't worry, we'll take care of this. It's That's fine, great. You know.
So what are you doing to keep your mind at ease? Because I feel like most people, it would give them an added layer of anxiety to be in the midst of a global pandemic and be someone with a pre-existing condition who's considered high risk. How does that affect you mentally?
I mean, it is affecting me mentally. Again, like I told you before, I have PTSD and I have a major depressive disorder. So, every day is different. It's an emotional roller coaster. But, you know, I'm doing my best to stay sane by reading books and doing yoga and just watching TV and
That's so awesome.
Talking to friends, and I don't know. I'm just trying to keep myself mentally busy, so that I don't run away with my thoughts.
But also, it's so cool that you're doing yoga. There are days when we just like don't want to get out of bed. I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like being active. I'm over it. But yoga is so great.
Yes.
All it takes is a little tiny amount of space, all different levels. It's so fantastic.
Yeah.
Our Heart Foundation chairman, Mark Littman's on right now. And he just said, you are an inspiration to us all.
Thanks.
Bless up. So wait, one last thing that I really, really want to discuss, just like briefly, that nobody else really cares about except for me and you.
Okay.
Is that you and I totally connected over our love for true crime.
Yes.
I have to be honest, it has been something that has really, really, as crazy as it sounds, it has helped me right now. Because yes, I don't know what it is. It's this weird balance in our lives between chaos and calmness, where it's like there's so much chaos, but then we're in our homes and there's nothing happening and we're bored out of our minds. So then also hearing these crazy stories or watching these crazy documentaries is some type of weird coping mechanism for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of am like, well, at least this awful thing isn't happening to me.
I mean, silver lining,
right?
I love that. So Heather, if you could give a piece of advice to someone, and I feel like this is where you're going to have your strongest opinion, a piece of advice to someone who maybe is unsatisfied with either the answer that they are getting from their doctor or if they're unsatisfied with the treatment that they are receiving from their doctor, what would the advice be?
Can I swear? Be a bitch. Like, in a nice way, but like be demanding. Demand that you're cared for, demand that they run another test. You know, if there's a financial issue, I'm on Medi-Cal right now, but I still am like, okay, that doctor didn't work. Can you recommend a different one? You know,
it sounds like I feel like it takes a level of fearlessness.
Yeah, and you just have to. I'm sorry, there's a siren.
LA.
Yeah, you have to advocate for yourself. Like, really, really hard, and just be very demanding.
I think also too, a lot of people don't put their health first, and you have to.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being selfish, especially when it comes to your health.
Self-care is not selfish.
Exactly.
At all.
Yes, exactly.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm so glad that you joined me today.
It's great.
You're the absolute best. Thank you so much for having first of all, sharing your time. Second of all, sharing your story. And third of all, being brave enough to be like, hey world, I'm also going to go live and you can all hear it and see it and like whatever. You seriously just walked us through your entire life story, and I really, really appreciate you being so honest and vulnerable with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, of course. This video is going to be up on our IGTV, so anybody watching can revisit it anytime you want. Like I said, you guys, you can totally donate to the Heart Foundation cause through this live right here or through the link in our bio. We support heart disease research at Cedars-Sinai under the direction of a world-renowned cardiologist, Dr. PK Shaw. He's impeccable. Also, like I said, we have our mantra shirts. You're never too young. It's never too late. And all of the proceeds from these shirts, again, support that heart disease research. Heather, we're going to send you a mantra shirt.
Oh, shoot. Thanks.
You're going to look so cute.
Of course I am.
I cannot wait. I want to see a really moody selfie in a mantra shirt.
For sure.
I want it. It's going to be great.
Of course. No problem.
You guys can access all of that through the link in our bio. And Heather, happy anniversary of your heart surgery.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh, congratulations. You should be very, very, very proud of who you are. Can I swear? You're a badass. Seriously.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you're never too young. It's never too late to start living a heart healthy lifestyle. Bye, Heather.
Bye.